power goes down, EMP hits, and you've got a great well, serviced your home, your family for years. How do you get the water out of it? Well, there has been this talk of the old bucket down the well trick. Well, that's good, but not here in North Carolina or South Carolina, where your well pipes come up out of the top of the cap. Okay, you've got a 400, 500 pound submersible pump hanging off of and drop pipe. How are you going to get into that well and drop a bucket down? Who's going to hacksaw that through that, let that submersible pump drop down? I mean, if you're desperate, you might do it. So other climates have pitless adapters where you can actually get a bucket down beside it. So I encourage you, with the style of wells that we have here, where the pipe comes up through the cap, that you need to prepare a way to get the water out of that. And again, if you have a bored well, those are great. There are a lot of bored wells around 2 foot, 3 foot diameter, and you can then use the just a simple approach, just pulling a bucket out. Okay, pumps. All right, we get to the point where we actually want a backup system. See, when it comes to EMP, it's an hourglass, it's a wood stove, candles, and a hand well pump. I mean, so when people say, how do you prepare for an EMP? I just told you, wood cook stove, water out of a well, and candles. I mean, that's part of when we do retreat design. You have the simple basics. You have backups, so you don't have to worry about any electrical interferences. There are a gazillion types of pumps on the market. I have bought some of these, I have made some of these, and I'm just going to share with you one. It's out at our table, the Practical Preppers table. It is a pump. The reason I am selling it, but also telling you that this pump will pull water from 350 feet down. It will actually put water in your house. It'll pressurize the water, and you can actually get off the grid and turn your submersible off and run off of this. And I encourage anybody that installs things, backup systems, to test for at least a month period of time. So this is an option. This sits right alongside your submersible, doesn't interfere with it in any way, and allows you to get water out of your well. Okay, ram pumps. Guys, how many people have a ram pump? You live in a place, of all places in the country, to have hydraulic ram pumps. Does anybody have one? I got one hand. Okay, this is old school. I love old school. This thing was designed in 1797. Okay, go back. We need to go back. The most water in America, in agricultural America, was pumped with a hydraulic ram pump during the 1800s. When electricity came out, these became obsolete. This is basically just a quick slide showing how a ram pump actually runs. Actually, it's not running. Oh, it is, kind of. Water coming down from a water supply, whether it's a pond, a stream, a creek, a spring, runs down into this pump. It's the closest thing to perpetual motion that I have found that I enjoy. I make these, I have bought some, and they're running on my, they just run. They run for years with a little bit of maintenance, but they're a great way off the grid to move a lot of water. They pump water 365 days out of the year, 24/7, and they can pump the water at least 10. My pump pumps 250 feet above it. And that's pretty impressive for only falling 15 foot of water into it. So I can pump water 1,200 feet away from the pump to up to 200 feet above the pump with a hydraulic ram. This is one, I don't know if the video will actually play on there, but this is just a quick little couple second. Anybody ever seen one of these things? Don't know. Okay, you've seen, these are great. I'm just putting a plug in. If you have a situation where you can actually run a ram, I encourage you to put it in because they just work. It's not an EMP going to touch a counterweight and a rubber gasket, and you're okay. Fully adjustable. You can adjust it for drought season. For season, you can put them in parallel. There's so much. If you ever have a question about it, please email me. I'd be happy to chew your ear off about ram pumps. And you can build your own. A pump like this is around $2,000. You can build one for about $100 that'll move almost as much water. So this is just enough of that. Okay. Another neat thing, you say, oh, I'm not going to drink that pond water, I'm not going to drink that creek water. A ram pump can be modified. I've modified mine to actually use the dirty water, stream water, river water, spring water, creek water to pump spring water, potable water. You can actually, and they will not mix in that ram. And then you can put your spring water in, like the Amish do this, and they pump to a cistern, and then you have a gravity-fed water system to your home. So if you come over to my place, you'll usually see me messing around with a ram pump And my wife says, I am obsessed. I think I have a mile of PVC under the ground, so I got water moving all over the place. But she knows where I am. I'm down by the ram pump. I know I've got issues, but if you ever have any questions, so some people, they don't get this, and you really need to see one. You need to understand the operation, and if you'd like to put one in, just being in the mountains, I know that some of you have perfect application for a rain pump, just because of the elevation and the fall of water that you have. All right, solar. Now, I thought the ram was the best until I started pumping water with solar. Solar power, I've been pumping water with a solar pump for 8 years now, and out of a spring, and it works fantastic. This is great off-the-grid stuff. Solar is very efficient in pumping water and charging batteries. Pumping water, again, I'm about just under 2,000 gallons a day. I continuously pump it up to a tank, and it comes back down. I like to keep the water moving, keep your water rotating. A lot of people use this, and they'll put a system in, and they pump it, and they let it sit in a big cistern. It's going to develop algae. It's going to go bad quickly. So, solar. How much time am I doing? How much? Oh, I forgot to flip it. I have no idea. What am I doing right now? 2.5 minutes. Okay, solar. Oh, other ways. Just giving you some ideas. PTO pumps, very inexpensive. $150 pump, 8-roller pump. Don't buy a 6-roller, buy an 8-roller. Why? More pressure. That pump, that little $110 Harbor Freight will pump just about 400 feet above the tractor. And you could put a line in. I use this as a backup. If my cows destroy my waters and I lose all my water, I can drive the old tractor down and hook up to my spring and fill my cistern in about 20 minutes. So I like to have backups to backup. So it's solar, it's ram, it's well, it's tractor. And again, you don't need all these, but it's just give you some ideas depending on your location and your resources. Talk a little bit about purifying. Brian mentioned a few things, and I don't have time to go into all of these. Disinfecting water, of course, using chlorine, chlorinization. Pool shock works well. If you have one of the salt bromine pools, do not drink the water. You'll get very sick. If you have one of the salt disinfector purifiers for your swimming pool. But disinfecting, chlorine works good. Pool shock works good. I'm venturing into pasteurization. A lot of people buy the filters. They buy the Berkeys, the Catadines, the monolithics. And I echo that on Ryan. Those are excellent filters for the money. They're unbeatable. But pasteurizing is another way. What if my filter media runs out? What if pasteurizing water, 165 degrees for 15 seconds, and any water is safe to drink. I give it 30 seconds, but if you can pasteurize, I like to do it. Doesn't give it an off taste like boiling does sometimes. But boiling, of course, is another way to deal with your water. So filtering, of course, tons of filters on the market. From the Berkeys on down. Distillation, whether it's solar, whether it's electric, distilling is another way. UV, you know all these. Ionization, reverse osmosis. I won't go into the details at this time. A lot of people ask about Clorox, just some numbers. The amount of bleach, again, don't get the slippery, scented, old school Clorox bleach, and how much you need, 2 drops per quart of water, 8 drops per gallon of water. We do this too. Even though I pump so much water, we have water stored away in bottles. And again, using the right plastic, polyethylene, same plastic that is your milk jugs are made out of. Okay. This I did want to show. This is another way. How do I know if I'm pasteurizing? There's some tools on the market. These are different indicators with industrial waxes. When you hit a certain temperature, when you hit that 165 degrees with the water, that wax will melt and shift or change color. And so whether it's a spade or a whoppy, you can know that your water has been pasteurized. These you actually screw in a water bottle. Just put them in a water bottle, set it out in the sun at an angle, and when that wax melts, whatever water you put in that water bottle, it's safe to drink. And so that's another good thing for a bug out bag. Traditional filter, countertop filter, we have some on our table, but you can make them. That monolithic, this is what this is, a great filter. It lasts indefinitely. The charcoal only lasts about 8 months, but the ceramic filter will keep you alive forever. All right, again, that's the symbol you're looking for, the high density polyethylene. When use it looking for. Most buckets and things today are put in food grade buckets. So